Creating and managing deployment images. Now, deployment images, that means deploying the operating systems. So if suppose we have to install multiple operating system, multiple machine with Windows operating system, so how we can do that and how we can deploy the images of Windows Server operating system or Windows 10 also. Now first, overview of images. In images, in Windows images, now Windows use .vim files. .vim files as a images file, and in that image file it has all the resources and data available to install the system. So .vim files contain all the files and information for one or more disk images. So in every for now in Windows, for installation Windows, we have the .vim file which contained all the files and information for one or more disk images. That means in a single image can be it can contain multiple images of different multiple images of operating system. Like for example, we install Server 2016. So in that normal DVD or normal installation media, in that image file, in that there is an image file, and in that we have four different disk images, four different images. That means one image is for the core installation, standard core installation, standard graphical installation, then data center core installation, and then data center graphical installation. That means a single image of Windows Server 2016 DVD installation media. In that we have four images. So those images are under that .vim file. So in that DVD, in that installation DVD, we have .vim file, we have install.vim file, and we have boot.vim file. So in install.vim file we contain all the different images. So all the files which is required and all the information which is required to install the operating system. Then Vim boot. There is one more file, it is called Vim boot files, that allow a computer to run directly from a .vim file and reduce the space requirement for Windows installation. So there is two files in the installation media, one install.vim file and then the boot file. That boot.vim file do what? It provides the installation method where we can run the Vim file from the CD-DVD. And under the install.vim file we have all the required files which is need to install the images or install the operating system. And if you see any image .vim file, then you will see that this is the format of the Vim file. You will have two images, like here it is showing that there is two images are in the same .vim file. It contains the header. In the header it contains the header information, then they are having a file resources, then the metadata resources, that is actually the image one, then lookup table where to look up the data, then XML data, then integrity table, and then same as for the other images, other image file resources, then metadata resource for the image 2, the lookup table, XML data, and the integrity table. So this is the two images in the single Vim file. So if you see the installation media, for example, if we see the Server 2016 installation media we have. So this is our Server 2016 which we have installed, and if we go here and the installation DVD is there under the machine. So this is the installation DVD. When I go inside this, I will see here under the resources, you can see the size of this directory. It is actually 6 GB. So all the files which is required to install this operating system is there under this directory. So when you go to this sources directory, you will see two files. I will search here .vim file. Now you see there is two .vim files. The one is install.vim, and in that we have all the information required, files required for installing this operating system Server 2016. And this is what it is totally 5.60 GB. Then we have the boot.vim file. Now this boot.vim file provide the installation steps, like the installation wizard. So when we start the installation, we see the wizard of installation. That wizard is coming from this boot.vim, and that wizard will also allow us to run directly the Vim file without installing it. So we can run the command prompt, we can see the Vim file, we can run and we can also do the installation. For example, I will show you the installation process. Now see, when we start the installation process, we put the DVD into the DVD drive, installation media, and start the installation. So the file is loading. Now this file is what that boot.vim file is loading here, and this is the wizard. It is coming from that boot.vim file, and it provides the information, like it will help us to install the operating system. So you select the features what you want, you go on to see this, you want to install, you can install. You can also repair your existing installation. So if some files are missing or something, you can do select to repair your existing operating system. So you can select to repair your computer. You will get this repairing tools, you will get the troubleshooting tools, you can get image, you can get the command prompt. It is coming from this boot.vim file. So it is all things are coming from that boot.vim file. So it is coming from boot.vim file. Now when we select to install the operating system, now I will shut down it. So when we select to install the operating system, like click on install, so it give us the wizard here that follow these steps and do the installation. So all of these wizard is coming from that boot.vim file. Now when we finish these steps, like we select what we want, and then after that it will start installing the operating system from that install.vim file. It will start copying the file from that vim file, install.vim file, and then it will start installing. And you can see here in this particular edition we have 4 different images in single .vim file. That is why the size is a big size, 5 GB size, more than 5 GB. We have standard graphical edition, we have standard core edition, then we have data center core edition, and also data center graphical edition. So in the single image file we have all these 4 editions. So when we complete the installation steps with the help of that boot.vim file, then what it is going to be installed, it will copy the files from that install.vim file. So now see, these are the steps, and when we complete this, now it is doing what? It is copying the files, and it is copying the file from that install.vim, and then it will start the installation. So this is the 2 image file we have by default. We have this into the installation media. So this is those 2 files. This is boot.vim, which provide that wizard for installation, and all the installation images are under this install.vim file. Now those image files is having 3 types: thin image, thick image, and hybrid image. We can have these 3 types of images. First, thin image. Thin image contains only the operating system and possibly a few agents such as Configuration Manager 2012 agent. Now this is the normal image which we have. We have just used that image to install the operating system. That is the normal image, and that is actually the thin image, which contains only the operating system and possibly a few agents such as Configuration Manager. That Configuration Manager used to configure the server to the installation. Then here the next image type is a thick image. Now this contains every application required by an end user. Now this image, thick image, is not comes by default. We have to create this image. We have to create this image which contains all the application required for the user, for the end user. For example, we want to install Windows 10, and in Windows 10 user wants to have the Microsoft Office, user want to have the Adobe Reader, user wants to have the other applications. They will not come, those applications don't come with the operating system, don't come with Windows 10. So what the normal image for the Windows 10 will be like thin image, but we want to create the thick image. We will create the thick image with all those applications which is required by the end user. Now how you will create that? We will create that by capturing the image, capturing the operating system, capturing the operating system image directly from the reference machine. Now hybrid image, that contains some of the application required by most users. Now if suppose we have an environment where we have different users working and they use different applications, but all those users maybe need only Microsoft Office, they need, all those users need the Microsoft Office, but the other users need different applications. So we can create a hybrid image which only have the particular image like Microsoft Office installed into it, and for other image, for other users, we will install the operating applications later after the installation. Then we have these two images as we saw, boot image and install image. Now boot image comes with Windows PE, pre-install, pre-boot, pre-executed. That will need to do what? To run the installation. On install media it is called boot.vim. In the installation media it will comes as a boot.vim. Then it can have a 32-bit and 64-bit both platform support. Then used to capture and deploy operating system. It will use to do the both the things. Remember, I told you that if you want to have a thick image, then you need to capture the image. You need to capture the image from the reference machine. Now this boot image will also use for capturing the image, and also it used to deploy the operating system. So normally in installation media it is used to deploy the operating system image, but we can create the boot image, boot image for capturing the operating system image also. Then install image, this install image, the operating system, it has the operating system. Then on install media it names as install.vim, and generally based on the captured reference computer. Now it can be a normal image in the installation file, or also it can be a captured image. So as I said, you have to capture the image, so you will capture what? Install.vim file. You will capture this image, the operating system image, and with the operating system, with the applications you require, then it will become the thick image. Normally it is a thin image. Now overview of image based installation. Now tools for using tools for image based installation include, now we want to do the image based installation. Image based installation, that means whatever the image we have thin image, thick image, or even a hybrid image. So we do the installation based on the images. So for that, first we have the setup.exe. Now this performs the Windows installation by using the interactive or unattended installation method, and can be used with the answer files and catalog with the answer with the catalog, answer file and catalog with the Windows SIM. Windows SIM is the system image manager. So it is a different tool. From this tool we can create a custom image also. Like if you want to capture the image, you can capture, and you can create the custom catalog image also by using this Windows SIM tool. Then it will have an answer file also. Now this setup.exe is the normal setup.exe. If you see the installation media, you will see the setup.exe. Just like we have this, when you go here in this DVD installation media, you will see this setup. So we can start the installation by using the setup also. When we boot this machine through this DVD image, this installation DVD, then actually we are running the setup. So this setup will do what? this setup will start the boot image, and boot image will use the install image to start the installation. So we have the setup image, this setup.exe for starting the installation, for doing the image based installation. Then other option we have is Windows deployment services. Now this Windows deployment services comes as a role service on Windows Server 2016, and we can install this and we can make one server as a deployment server, Windows deployment server, from where we can deploy the images on the whole network. In the whole network, that means in every suppose we want to install multiple machines, so we can do install from the single location, from this server, deployment server. So we can use the deployment server to deploy the images, deploy the installation to multiple machines. Now it comes by default with the Windows Server, and it is as a role in Windows Server. So if you see in the Windows Server, so in Windows Server, if you go to add and manage the role, add roles and features, so you will see here Windows deployment services. This is Windows deployment services, and this Windows deployment services provides a simplified, secure means of rapidly and remotely deploying Windows operating system to computers over the network. So with the help of this, we can install operating system remotely through the network to multiple different machines. So we can use this. So we can use setup, we can use this Windows deployment services, then we can use Windows ADK. This ADK is a version of Windows AIK that contains Windows PE images. Now this ADK is assessment and deployment kit. Now in this kit we have multiple different tools. With those multiple different tools, we have Windows PE also, pre-executed installation, pre-executed images, pre-executed boot. So we can create a pre-executed boot image for installing the operating system, or we can use to install it on Flash also. So we can create an installation Flash, from there we can install the operating system. So this helps us to create the operating system, and this Windows SIM is also under this Windows ADK toolset, this toolkit. Then we have DISM. This DISM is a command line and PowerShell tool for servicing the Windows operating system images. For servicing the images, that means you can open the image, you can see, you can add features, you can disable features in you can install roles or features into the images without opening the image. You can just add something into the image. You can do the servicing of those images by using this PowerShell and command line tool DISM. Then we can use the Service Center Configuration Manager. Now this Service Center Configuration Manager is a comprehensive enterprise level suite for deployment and management. Now this is used for the enterprise level of the management. That means where you are having 100, 500 and 1000 machines to manage, then you can use this System Center Configuration Manager. It's a different tool, it's a different application which we installed on Server 2016, Server 2012, and then we can use this to manage a multiple operating system, and not even for the deployment, we can use this to manage multiple different configurations. So these are the tools we have. These are the tools we have for doing the image based installation. Creating, updating and maintaining images. The process of creating an installed image can be summarized as follows. Like, first, create a capture image. Now first what we do, we create the capture image. With the help of this capture image, we do capture the installation. So install Windows on a reference computer where we want to capture the image. So you will do what? We'll install the operating system normally on the reference computer. We call it reference computer because we are going to capture the image from that computer. So we install the operating system, then we install all the application which we need, which we require, and then what? With the help of the capture image, we first we customize the settings and reference of computer, generalize, then we generalize the reference computer first, and after the generalizing we can capture the reference image from that reference computer. Now that image we can use to deploy multiple machines, multiple computers, same as the reference computer. That means whatever the operating system we have on that reference computer, and whatever the application we have, whatever the settings we have changed, all these things will be same, and we will configure this, we will deploy multiple same machines like that. For example, we want to have Windows 10 installation on multiple machines, and also with the same application, the application which the user required. So we can do what? We can do capture the, first we create the reference computer, and then we capture the image of that reference computer, and then we can deploy other computers by using the same reference computer image. And that we can do through these Windows deployment services. We can also do it from Windows ADK. We can also do it from Windows ADK. We can also do it from deployment services. Also we can do it from System Center Configuration Manager. But setup is only for the installing the normal installation, and also DISM is only for doing the servicing of images. Windows SIM is also doing the same thing. The System Center can also be used to do capture the images and deploy multiple images, same as that reference computer. So we can use DISM to manage and maintain images. What we can do? We can apply the updates. We can install drivers directly. We can install the language packages. We can add or remove or enumerate the packages and drivers. We can enable or disable Windows features also. We can configure the local settings. We can upgrade an image to a different edition of Windows. So these are the servicing thing we can do on the images. And then we can use that image to deploy, and we can use the image to deploy, and we can deploy through the deployment services or Windows ADK also. Now Windows ADK for Windows 10. This is assessment and deployment toolkit. So this comes with for the Windows 10, and we can download it free from Windows Microsoft site, and it is almost for 3.5 GB. So we can download it, this tool we can download it from the we can directly install, or we can download it from Microsoft also. We can download it first, the installer, and then from there we can directly download, or we can install directly also. And these are the tools we have in that ADK. Application compatibility toolkit. This tool is used to check the compatibility of operating system, the applications. Like for example, we are having Windows 8 installed and we want to upgrade it to Windows 10. Now there are some applications installed in Windows 10. I want to see that those applications are compatible to Windows 10 or not. So we can do that by using the application compatibility tool. We can check the compatibility of applications. We can change the applications compatibility also. Then we have deployment image servicing and management tool, that is DISM. It is called deployment image servicing and management tool. It also under this same Windows ADK. Then flashing tools we have user state migration tool, which is used to migrate the users from old operating system to new operating system. We have volume activation management tool. This tool is used to activate multiple operating system from the single location. It is called volume activation tool. When we get the volume activation key, then we can use this tool to deploy that key. Then Windows assessment toolkit. This is to assessment the operating system, like what operating system we have, what is need to be upgraded and all that. Then we have Windows image and configuration designer, that is Windows ICD. It is also for the servicing of Windows images, installation images, and configuration designer also. This is also same, like DISM is a command line tool. We can say it is a graphical tool. Then we have Windows pre-installation environment, PE, that is used to create the installation images. Then Windows Performance Tools, it gives you some performance tool, and then we have Windows System Image Manager, is to manage the image. It's a graphical tool. It's a graphical tool which we use to manage the system images. So this is Windows ADK, and then Windows Deployment Services. Now Windows Deployment Services is a server role that is provided with the Server 2016, and this Windows Deployment Services enable you to perform network-based installation, simplifies the deployment process, support deployment to computers with no operating system. There is no that suppose the new computer where there is no operating system installed, then uses the existing technologies such as Windows PE, .vim, .vsd and vsd files, and also image based deployment. Then we have Microsoft Deployment Toolkit 2003 Update 2. Now this is also for deployment, and this update to incorporate Windows 10 support. That has Windows 10 support, we can install Windows 10 with it. It delivers end-to-end guidance for planning, building and deploying Windows operating system. Enable deployment of Windows operating system by using the light touch installation or zero touch installation also. Now, what is light touch and what is zero touch? Light touch and zero touch, that means light touch where you don't have to much, you have to do little, you have to do a very little steps on the installation machine. And zero touch, then zero touch, that means you don't have to do anything on the installation machine. Installation will all the steps will be automatically configured. For that we create the answer file. So deployment service will deploy the image with the answer file that contains your answers, like what will be the computer name, what will be this, what will be that, those options which we select at the time of installation. So that will be provided directly from the deployment tool, like deployment services or this Windows MDT, that is deployment toolkit. So we can use this to do that. Now preparing a Windows Server 2016 image in MDT. Now suppose if you want to use this to deploy the image of Windows Server or Windows 10, then first we have to prepare our Windows Server for this Microsoft Deployment Toolkit. Now for that, first we have to install the required feature from the ADK, Assessment and Deployment Toolkit. The requirement tools are the required features are deployment tools, then Windows pre-installation environment PE, then user state migration tool. Now first we have to download this Windows ADK from Microsoft official site. Now for that, what you will do, we'll go to Microsoft site. Okay, we go to directly Google and we type Windows ADK for Windows 10, and it will show you this. This is the Microsoft official site, and you can go there. It shows here that you want to download the Assessment Deployment Toolkit. I say yes, and it will give you an exe file. And then when you run that exe file, it will do what? I have already downloaded it, this Assessment and Deployment Toolkit. Now when you run this, you will see these two options. You will see the option to install the Windows Assessment and Deployment Toolkit on this computer. Now directly it is going to do what? When I select this option, so it will do what? It will directly download and install it. Whatever we want, it will install it. First it will download it and then it will install it. But if suppose I don't want to download it every time, because it is almost, if I use all the tools, that means it will go up to 4 GB. So I don't want to do it all the time directly online. Then what I can do, I can make it offline. I can make it offline. I can select this option. So I can say download this Assessment and Deployment Toolkit, and I will decide whether I want to install it or not. And we can install it for the separate computer also. That means first it is downloading here, it will download it, and then we can decide we can install it on somewhere else or not. So we go with this and download and install. First download it. So first when you download this, then we can run it to anytime we want. We can run it for this machine, we can run it for any other machine. So already I have already downloaded it, so I will not download this. I have already downloaded this, so I can install these features which is required. I can install those features from that Windows ADK. So requirement features are deployment tools, Windows pre-install installation environment PE, and then user state migration tool. Then after installing the features, required features, then we can do what? We can install the Microsoft deployment toolkit. Now this Microsoft deployment toolkit also you have to download it from Microsoft official site. This is also not available. It is not there in the Windows Server or Windows 10. It is not there by default. We can install this, we can download this, and we can install it on Windows 10 also. It is also supported in Windows 10, and also we can use it on Windows Server. And this is what Windows deployment toolkit update. Now you go to this Microsoft official site, and you can see where you can download it. Microsoft Download Center. And here you can see this is the deployment toolkit. It is not that big file, it is only 20 MB, so you can download it very easily. You can see it is only 20 MB file. You have both for 64-bit and also for the 32-bit machine. So you can download it for 64 or 32-bit operating system you have. You can download it, and you can, after downloading, you will get the file, and it is only 20 MB. So we can download it very easily. Now after downloading that, we have to install it in our Windows Server. Then what we will do, we will create an MDT deployment share, then import the Windows operating system files into it, into an MDT deployment share. Then we can add applications also, and then we can use this to deploy the operating system, and also with the applications whatever we want. So first we have to install these features which is required from MDT. So we will do that, and then we need to install this Microsoft deployment toolkit. So first we will do this. So this is our Windows Server. I have already downloaded those things. So I will go on to install this. So it is available here in this map drive. This is software, and this is Windows ADK, Windows Deployment Kit. And you can see the size, it is almost 4 GB. Now I have already downloaded it. So I run the installation, I run the software. This is the software I run, and this is only 1.5 MB, almost 2 MB. So when we run this, so we get option to download or install both. So we have I have already downloaded, so now I will install it. So I will run the setup again. Now because I have already downloaded it, it is giving me option that where is the installation path. It is not giving me option to download it. So because I have already downloaded it, it is giving me the installation path only. So I'll say okay, I want to install it here. Then it is saying the you want to participate the what it says actually, customer experience improvement program. This will do what? It will send your important error informations or errors, or suppose when you face any problem or error, so it will send the data to the Windows, and that Windows will do the research, and then they can try to fix the problems. Now if suppose all the companies don't want to send the errors to the Microsoft, because these are maybe their important data. Suppose these companies are working on some application, and these applications during the testing process it gives the errors. So Microsoft, our operating system, may think that this is a problem, and it will send the data to Microsoft. So we don't want to do that, because we don't want to send anything to Microsoft. So we can decide it whether you want to send it or not. So mostly we don't send it. Now this is, I am accepting the license agreement, and then what, these are the tools, and by default it is all selected, and when I install all of them it is going to take almost 5.1 GB. So I'm not going to install all of these tools, I'm going to install what I require. So I require deployment tool, I require this Windows pre-installation environment, then I want this user state migration tool. So these are the required features I need. So I will install only those features, and then I will select, and only these features can also go up to 3.9 GB. So I'll do it and I will install it. Now this installation will take a little time. Then we are going to install the MDT. It is installing, it is still installing. It is almost now 92% and it is almost completing the installation. Now this is installed, whatever the feature we have required. So I will close this. Now the next thing is to install is MDT. So MDT is also I have downloaded already, and this is Microsoft Deployment Toolkit, and this is only 20 MB. So I will install this also. We can use it on Windows machine, we can use it on Windows 10 also, we can install it on Windows 10, we can install it on Windows Server, both. So this is our Windows Deployment Toolkit. Next, accept the term and license agreement. Next, this is a path where it is going to install. I say I'll use it default. Again, it is a customer experience improvement program. I don't want to join. Next, and install. Now this will not take much time, and it is finished. Now we have installed that MDT. Now what we have to do, we have to configure the image and we have to share the image, and then we can use that deployed image to install any other operating system. Now for that we will open it from here. We have this deployment workbench. So we will open this workbench here. Now in this, what we have two options here. Information Center. In Information Center you will get the information about this tool. You will get the documentation like how to get started and how to do the deployment process. So related all these steps, we have this information here. Then we have here deployment share. This is the tool, this is where we will have all our installation images and everything. Right now it is not showing anything. So first we have to do what? We have to create the deployment share. So we select this deployment share, and this side we have option to create new deployment share or open the deployment share. So if you have already created, then you can open it. But we have not opened it. It is saying that where you have created, open it from the path. So this is going for the default path, but we have not created, so it will be not there. There is no deployment share created. So we will create one. We will select this, we do right click, new deployment share, or we can select it from here. So I will select new deployment share, and this is the default path where it goes. It goes under C drive deployment share. We can put it on another path also. We can put it on the other drive. Now it is a good idea to put it on other drive, so that your operating system drive will be free for your operating system, and this deployment share will be on the other drive. So it will increase the performance, but still we can create it under the same C drive, under the same system drive where we have the operating system. But it is a good idea to put this into another drive. Right now I don't have any other drive, So I will go with the same C drive, and I will say next. Now it is a deployment share, so this will be shared by this name, and this will be hidden share. As you can see, it is having the dollar symbol at the end. So it is having a dollar symbol and the name is deployment share. So this directory is created under C drive and it is going to be shared by using this name. So this will be the shared name, and this the path we have seen which is under C drive. So directory will be created for the deployment share under the C drive, and it is going to be shared for this with this name, so that the other machine, when we use to install the when we deploy the operating system, the images, so the remote machine will get the share from get the information, get the files from here, from this share. Okay, so directory is created and it is now shared. Now this is to make a deployment share name or description. Now we can do give any name, whatever based on our organization, we can give any name, whatever name we want. By default it is MDT deployment share. I can give any name, like I will say this is Sai MDT, and then I will go next. Now this is an option. This is option when you perform the deployment. So the behavior of the deployment wizard can customize by tuning various wizard panes on or off. For those that are not desired, modify the default below as appropriate. Now default is appropriate for us, but we can use these options to change or customize the wizard. Now when we start the deployment on the remote machine, so the wizard opens and we can decide these options, whether the options are is to be there or not. So by default it is going to ask a computer backup should be performed. So whenever we start the wizard, it will ask that whether you want to take a backup of computer or not. For example, if the computer is having already the operating system or some data, then it will ask you to take the backup. It can also ask for a product key. If you select this, then always when we deploy any operating system image, it will ask the product key. So if you want, then you can have this option. Then ask to set the local administrator password. Always it will ask you to set the local administrator password when you deploy the any operating system there. But these two options are not selected. Then ask if an image should be captured. Now this option is selected here. So whenever we start the deployment wizard, it will ask that whether you want to capture the image or not. Like capturing image, that means if we have a reference computer where we have configured the reference computer with operating system, with the settings, with the application, and we want to capture the image of that operating system, so it will ask us to capture. Do you want to capture or not? Then it will ask us to enable the bit locker. You want to enable the bit locker or not? So it is going to ask when you start the wizard. We will see the wizard. When we start the wizard, we will see these options. These two options we will not see, but these options we will see. Then I will go next. So this is the summary we have selected, and then next, and now it is start creating the deployment, and now it is already it is created. So the deployment share is created successfully with these options you can see, and you can also see the script. That means this is a PowerShell command. If you want to create it through the PowerShell with the same options, and then we can also save the output what you are seeing here, whether it is successful or failure, and now finish. So now the deployment share is created. This is the directory, and this is the name, description name for this share. Now when I open this, I will see all these options. Now these options are for adding the application, we can add here. The application which we want to include with the deployment image. Then images we add here. That means whatever the operating system image we want, we can add it here. Then we can add out of the box drivers also, like with the operating system image. If suppose some drivers are not coming with that, so we can add the drivers also. We can add the packages also. If some software packages are not, you want to install it with the operating system, so we can add that packages also. Now then also we can create the task sequence. Now this is important, we have to create the task sequence for deploying the image. Then there are some advanced configurations, advanced configuration for selecting the profiles, selection profiles, linked deployment shares, like these are the selection profiles. Like for everything, all folders should be included, all drivers should be all include all driver folders, all driver and packages, all drivers, nothing sample, like all these what we have added packages, drivers, applications. So what to do with that selection profile, like what is selecting. Then we have linked deployment share. If you have another deployment share created, then we can create the link with that. We have option to create medias, we have option to add the database also. So if we want to add these images into database, we can link the server, this deployment share, this MDT to the database also, because if suppose it becomes very large data. Now here you will get the monitoring data, but right now there is nothing monitoring here, because no monitoring data is available, because we have not done anything, we have not deployed anything. So when we deployed something, some images, then those images, with those images some monitoring will come, we can do the monitoring on them. Now first I will do what, I will add the operating system image here. So I will select this operating system, and here I will select new, import the operating system. Now when I select import operating system, it opens this widget, and here we have to select whether you want to get the full set of source file, or you want to get the custom image file, or you want to get the Windows deployment service images. Now full set of files means the operating system being added consists of source file from Windows DVD, CD or equivalent. That means if you are having the installation DVD and you want to get the image from that installation DVD, that means all full set of the source files. Now source file, full set of source file, that means if you see the DVD here, this is the DVD. So under the DVD, if you see, it is not only .vim files, it is not only these vim files. If you go to this the vim file, there is only not only these vim files are there, there are lots of other files there. So there is not only these vim files is there, it is having a lots of other files. You can see there are lots of other files, and DLLs are there, and also you have lots of other files here, boot, EFI, nano, and all these other things. So if you want to have a full set of files, then you can go for this full set of source file. Now custom image file. Now custom image file, that means if suppose we have captured the image, if we have captured the image of the reference computer and we want to now deploy that image to other machines, then we can use this option and select that file, that vim file which we have created after capturing. So when we capture any image from the reference computer, it will capture as a .vim file, install.vim file. In that vim file you will have the installation of the operating system image and all the configuration and applications. So if we have already captured it, then we can select this and we can go on to select that vim file. And also we can select the file from Windows deployment services. So if we are using the Windows deployment services to deploy the images, and there is some images created under that deployment services, so we can add them from there also. So in that also, in deployment services also, we create install.vim and boot.vim. So if we want, then we can use that, we can get the image file from there also. And also we can do capture the image also with the help of this deployment services. With the help of this deployment services also, we can capture the image of reference computer. So if we have those custom files, we can use it. Right now I will go for the full set of files because I have not captured any and I don't have Windows deployment services installed. Now it is saying where is the directory from the where to capture the source file. So I will say browse and I will locate this D drive from where we have all the files to capture. Where my D drive, where my DVD is mounted. Now, what will be our deployment share directory name? So it is actually taking the name of the first installation. You remember, in this Windows Server 2016 we have 4 versions. We have standard core, standard graphical, data center core, and data center graphical. So it is taking the first name of standard server standard core, but I don't want. I will go with this only 2016 server. This will be the directory name. Now I will go next. So this is what we have selected, and now it is going to import the images from that DVD. Now it is importing those images, and it will take a little time to import, and it is going to import all those 4 editions, 4 versions we have: the standard core, standard graphical, data center core, and data center graphical. Then it will take a little time, so let it do. It is now 64%, 66. It is going to complete, and it is reached almost finished, 98, and now 100% done. Now it is done successfully, and you can see here that it is performing the operation of import the operating system, and it is now creating, actually it is importing these names. We can see it is imported these 4 editions. Now we can say finish. We can also see the script, and we can go on to see in the deployment services. Here we have these 4 different editions. We have these data center, we have data center core, we have standard, and we have a standard core. So we have these 4 editions in single Vim file, single installed image file here. Now we can choose whether we want to deploy data center core, we want to data center graphical, we want to deploy standard core, standard graphical, whatever. Now before that, I want to add an application also. So we can add applications also. That means with the image we can add the application. So when we deploy the image, so that application will also be deployed with that image. Now for deploying the images, the applications, we require .msi file, Microsoft installer. We can't use .exe files. We need .msi files to install, to use for deploy the images. Now I have this in my machine. I have one. I have Adobe Reader here, and I have this .msi file for this Adobe Reader. If I go here and check the property, so this is .msi file. So if you want to deploy any application, then you need that .msi file. Otherwise you can't deploy it. Okay. So for deploying the application, I will select this application. I will say new application. Now we have the option to choose what type. So application with the source file, that is what the normally we do. We copy the source file into the application share, deployment share, which will be used for installing the application. Now we can use this application without source file or elsewhere on the network. That means if suppose it is installed into, it is available in the other machine in the network, then it can download it from there. And also we can use the application bundle. So I have a file directly, so I will use the source file. Now it is giving us to show the information about the application which I am going to install. So I will say this is published by the Adobe, and the application name is Adobe Reader. Then the version will be 11, which I have, and the language is English. Okay, then I go to next. Then I have to select the source directory where I have that application file. Now from there it is going to include that file into our share, into our deployment share. So this is the folder which contains that application. So I mention the folder there, and it is going to import that application from there. Now this is the name. I say yes. Now you have to provide the command here that need to be install the application. Now basically the command for installing the application is this msi-exe -i for installing, and then you will mention the name of that exe file. So the name of the exe file is this. I will copy the name. And the name is .msi, and then I will give -qr, so it is going to install quietly without any interference. And in the application directory it is going to create, this is the working directory where it is going to be shared. So this is what we have to do for adding the application. Next, so this is the summary which we have selected. Now when you add this, so it is going to add in all those versions we have. Like for example, if we have added 4 versions here: data center core, data center graphical, standard core and standard graphical. So this application will going to be added into all. So I will say yes, I want. And now you see it is going to add in every application, and it will take a little time. So when we deploy the image, it is going to deploy that application also with that image. And it is started 4%, and it will take a little time then. Now it is the process completed successfully. Now it is done. Now we can do finish it, and we can see the application is added here. Now we have added the application, we have added the images also. Now what we have to do, we have to create the task sequence. This task sequence will decide how we are going to deploy the operating system. So there is no task sequence here, so I'm going to create one new task sequence. Now this task sequence, you have to provide the name. Now this ID will be, this is for you, for your reference, that you may have created lots of task sequence, so you can decide a single ID for it, a unique ID, and you can get you can give the unique name also. So I will decide like this is my ID 001, task 001, and the name for the task will be to, I'm saying, deploy Windows Server 2K16, and you can add the comment here also. That will be helpful for you if you have multiple task sequence created. Then you can see by this name and description you can differentiate between them. So this is we have done. Now next, now here we will select the template for our task sequence, that what we want to do and how and what we want to deploy. First it is saying standard client task. That client task is, that means if you want to deploy the Windows 10, Windows 8 operating system, these are client operating system. So we will use the standard client task. Now we want to deploy the server, so we can use this standard server task sequence. Now if you want to upgrade, you have other task sequence. This is the standard client task sequence. This is a standard client replace task sequence if you want to replace. This is for upgrade if you want to upgrade your client. This is to create the custom task sequence, light touch task sequence for OEM. Then you have for server, for creating the new task or upgrading the operating system. Post installation task, like you want to do something after installation, then you can also do that. You can create the VHD client task sequence also for VHD client and VHD server. That means for virtual machines. For virtual machines, client VHD like Windows 10 8 VHD, or for server, that means server's VHD file, server 2016 or 12. Then also we can create the task sequence to capture the image. As I said, we can create the capture image. So we create the task sequence for capture the image. Then when we start the task sequence on the client machine, the reference computer, and then it will start capturing the image, and it will capture the image and store it into our operating system here, into our operating system share, and then we can use that to deploy another computers. But right now we don't have to, we don't have any reference computer created. So we will do what? We will create a new task sequence for installing, and we are installing server. So I will select standard server task sequence because I want to install the server operating system. Then I will go next. Now here it will give us all the operating system available in our operating system folder here. So we have all these. We have standard core, standard graphical, data center core, data center graphical. So I will go for the data center graphical one. Now here, if suppose we want to provide the product key, if we are having a genuine version, so we can provide the product key here, and is going to use that product key. But right now what operating system I'm installing, it is Evolution version. So Evolution version does not require the product key. So I'm not going to give it. I'm going to say do not specify a product key at that time. Now at this time, that means it is going to ask at the time of installation if it is required. But in this it is an Evolution version, so it will not require. Then we can also select to specify the multi-activation key. We can get a single key to activate multiple operating systems. So if we have that license key, then we can use this option and give the key there. But I am not using a key because I am installing the Evolution version. Then here you will provide the username that specify the setting about the task sequence, that this setting will be used for all deployment of this task and unless overridden during the deployment process. So like for the user full name for this, I am going to say like this is deploy OS, organization is our SciTech, and for the home page we don't have any, so I'll go next. Now this is to provide the password for the administrator. Now when we start the installation process, it will use this administrator password to complete the task. But I will not use this here. I will say do not specify an administrator password at this time. Now that means it is going to ask the administrator password during the installation, during running this task sequence. So when we run the task sequence, it will ask the password for the administrator account. So that is a good idea. So this is what we have selected, and now it is going to start and create it. So this is created the task sequence and it is completed successfully. Now I can finish it from here. So this is what the task sequence we have. Now what we will do, we have to deploy this what we have created. Now for deploying it, first we have to do what? We have to update our deployment share with this all settings which we have created. We have added the operating system, application, and also we have added the task sequence. We can add drivers also, we can add packages also. So right now we have added application, operating system, and we created the task sequence. Now we have to update the deployment share with these latest settings. For that we have to right click on this and we have to select update deployment share. But before updating, I will show you the properties. So in the properties we have, this is the description name, this is comment we don't have, this is the share, and this is the real path. Now it is going to create support for 32-bit and 64-bit both. Then you can enable the multicast for this deployment share also. Multicast, that means if you want to install multiple operating systems simultaneously, you can deploy, you want to deploy multiple deployment simultaneously, then you want to do it multicast. So you can select this. Then you have option to rules. So these are the default rules. If you want, then you can change some of the rules, like it is going to install OS, yes. Skip the capture, no. So it is not going to skip the capture. It will ask you to capture this image whether you want to capture or not. Then skip the admin password, yes, it is going to skip, and it is going to ask at the time of installation. Skip the product key, yes, it is going to skip. Then skip the computer backup, no, it will ask you to do the backup. Skip the BitLocker, no, it is not going to skip. You can change any of this. And then you have here in this Windows PE. Now here you will get what? When we update the deployment, it will create these things. It will create this light touch boot images. Boot images, it will create the boot Vim file. It will create the boot Vim file which we can use with the Windows deployment server to deploy the image remotely, start the installation remotely. Then it will create also this ISO, light touch ISO file. This file we can use, it is a small file. This file we can use to boot the deployment machine. Like if we want to boot a machine with this deployment share, then we will boot that system by using this boot.iso file, which will give us the wizard to complete the installation, to complete the deployment. It is also create this bitmap file for this customization. We can add that directory to extra directory also. Now this is for the PE like pre-executed installation, pre-executed environment, where we create the flash, bootable flash. Then we have the generic boot image setting also. So if you want the generic boot Vim file or boot.iso, then you can use this also. But it is going to create this ISO file which we are going to use. We can use the Vim file, but for Vim file we don't have these deployment services installed. So it is not going to remotely boot. We have to boot it directly with this ISO file. So this is what. Then it is going to support what 32-bit or 64-bit both. We have option to add some extra features into boot image file. Remember, it is only the boot image file. Already it is going to add this information here, these features, and also these drivers. It is going to add all the drivers and packages which is there. Then here is the monitoring setting. So if we enable the monitoring setting, then it is going to be show here in the monitoring tab. It is going to monitor for this host, event port is this, and data port will be this, where it will receive the events. So I did only change this, I did not change anything. And I will do what? I will press OK here, and then what I will do, I will update the deployment share. So updating the deployment share, open this wizard. It says actually optimize the boot image updating process. You can update the boot, you can create the fresh one. It can also compress the boot image if it is getting very large. Then also you can select completely regenerate the boot image. If suppose there is already a boot image created, that lighttouch.iso file, then it is going to create, it will regenerate it, or it will do optimize. Optimize, that means it will add the new feature into it, and regeneration, that means it will create the completely new file, that boot file, that boot image file. So I want to optimize it, and there is no file already, so it is going to create it new. So this is what we have selected: no force compression and no optimization, no regeneration. So you can see it is creating this light touch PE boot image file. Light touch, that means we have to do some installation tasks, we have to complete some tasks there at the time of deployment. Zero touch means you don't do anything, everything will be done based on the answer file. The answer file, that means the script which we have in the property of this deployment share. When we saw the deployment share, there was a script, it says yes, no, yes, no. So you can do add more options there also to make this zero touch. Now it is going to update the deployment share with all the settings and create that boot image file. Almost completing it. Okay, now this is finished, and what we get a light touch boot image file, and you see here under this location we have a files. This is light touch boot image file. Okay, so I will say finish here. Now we can use that that light touch .iso file to boot the installation machine where we want to deploy this deployment share, where we want to deploy this operating system which we have selected and the applications which we have added. Now for that, what we do, we will get that deployment share. So that deployment share is under here, under C drive. This is this is the directory for the deployment share, and under the directory we have these boot. Under the boot directory we have these light touch installation image boot image files. Now we have the ISO file here, disk image file. We have the Vim file. We can use this Vim file to deploy the image from the deployment services which we have, or if you have installed that. And then we have the XML file also. This can be work as a answer file for the installation, and this is for the 32-bit ISO file, Vim file, and XML file. So what we do, we will use this ISO file to boot the other machine and start the installation, start the deployment process. So I will do what, I will copy this file in the share folder, and then I will boot the other machine from this image file, this .iso file. So I will copy this, and what I will do here, this is my virtual machine, so I have connected this from this folder from my real machine. So I will put this image file here in this folder. Now from here I can use this ISO file to boot to other virtual machine. So what I will do now, I will create new virtual machine and I will use this file to boot that virtual machine. So I will create new 2016 virtual machine, and I will go to customize the hardware, and both the machines are in this LAN segment, and then I will use to select that file. So this is the file which I have created. This is light touch 64.iso. So I'm going to boot this virtual machine from this ISO file, and it will do what, it will start the booting process, and it will do connect the deployment share to get the installation image files and applications and everything. So I will start the machine here. So machine is created. Now I'm going to boot it, and I'm going to boot it from that light touch boot image file. Now it is booting from this image file .iso file light touch, which will provide us, this is boot image, remember it is a boot image which provide the wizard for completing the installation, and this is now it is coming, and this is what Microsoft Deployment Toolkit. And now we see the wizard is started here. Now this wizard is starting from that boot image file. Now first what you have to do here, first you have to select your keyboard layout. So based on the keyboard layout you will select, my keyboard layout is US, so I will go with this. Now other thing, you have to configure the IP addresses. The IP addresses which is required to connect the server, deployment server. Now when you click on it, you have two options. You have option to select DHCP, that is by default selected. Now DHCP, that means it is going to configure IP address automatically. Now it will get the IP address information, all this information from the DHCP server remotely. But if you have the DHCP server, right now I don't have DHCP server, so I will not use DHCP. I am going to assign the IP address manually. So I am going to assign the IP address which will be used to connect the deployment share. So I will use this IP address with the same network IP address with the subnet mask, so that it can connect the deployment share. And if you have gateway, then you should add the gateway also. Then you should add the DNS server. You can see the star here, that is required. You have to provide these informations. So DNS server is there. DNS suffix, it is not necessary, but I will give it. This is my domain server name. This is my domain site.com. Now Win server we don't have, so we can go with this without it also. So I'll go finish it. So I have provided the IP addresses statically so that it can connect the deployment share. Remember, it is not connected to deployment share. This wizard is coming from the boot image file, which is we have added into this machine as a ISO file, and then we booted that this machine from that ISO file. So if you this is virtual machine. If you are having a real machine, then you burn that ISO file into DVD or bootable flash, and then you can boot your system from the DVD or flash, and you will get this wizard. Now you have option here to run the deployment wizard, to install the operating system. You can run it to recover the wizard also, to do the Windows recovery also, and also you can exit to command prompt if you want only the command prompt. Now I want to do what? Run the deployment wizard to install. So I select this. Now remember, we have configured that sequence task to provide the password, the administrator password at the time of deployment. So now it is asking for that. So I will provide that, the authenticated user and the password for that authenticated user, and the domain name is this. Okay, now it is showing us that there is one option available to deployment. So in this task sequence, we have only one option to install Windows Server. So I will say yes, I want to do that. Next, and then you can give your machine name. So after installation, my machine name will be this. Then you can even join the machine to domain also if you want, or you can do it later. You can make the machine in work group. So I'll go with work group, but if you want, then you can join the machine into domain also. Then this is the language and keyboard layout and time currency settings, whatever you want. You can select based on your, and then you can select the time zone based on your time zone. So I will select based on my where is it? Okay, it is here, and then I'll go next. Now remember, we have added the application also. So if you want to install it or not, you can decide here. I want to install that application also. So if you have added multiple applications, then you can select which applications you want to install. Then next. Now here it is asking us to capture the image. So if you want to capture the image, then you can select one of these options. Now we don't want to capture the image because this is not a reference computer. So capture the image will do what? Will allow you to deploy same machine into multiple different machines. We can do this. So actually this is the process to capture the image. Like first, you Windows operating system files, you have operating system, language packages, application, device drivers, you have all these added. Then you have installed the MDT, create the deployment shed, import the source file. So how you will do that? You will create a task sequence to update, to get the image, to deploy the image or get the capture image. You update the deployment share, create the task sequence, update the deployment share, then you deploy the image to a reference computer. So this is the reference computer you created, and in that reference computer you added everything what you want. Then you do what? You copy the image to management computer, and that you will do create the task sequence to deploy the captured image. Then you will deploy the captured image. So first you can capture the image of the reference computer, and for capturing it there is an option there. It is asking that whether you want to capture it or not. So when you select capturing, it will capture the image into your server, and then you can use that image to deploy to other servers. Like you can deploy other machines with the same setting of that reference computer. And that is what it is asking here. If suppose you select capture an image of this reference computer, so it will ask you that where you want to save. So if you select this, you can see this is our deployment share, and under the deployment share we have a capture directory where it will install the store this capture image file. And then this is the task sequence. So based on the task sequence ID, it is going to create the .vim file. You can change the name here. Now one more thing it can do, you can do the sysprep to this PC, this computer. Now sysprep, now this sysprep do what? It will generalize the computer. Like when you create the reference computer, so the reference computer itself has a unique ID. When you copy the image into other machines or multiple machines, they will get the same unique ID, and when we try to join those machine into domain, you will get the error saying that this ID is already there, this computer is already member. So you have to do the sysprep first. So if you want to capture the image, so first you have to run the sysprep to this computer, and then you can capture the image. Remember, if you want to do the capture, then you have to do the sysprep, and that you will do prepare the capture the machine. Now this is also doing the sysprep. Now this sysprep is to initiate the sysprep for operating system, but do not capture an image, and use when generating a VHD file. So this will do only sysprep, do not capture the image, and you can select prepare to capture the machine. So it will copy the needed sysprep files to proper location, but do not do nothing else. So it will only copy the sysprep file to run the sysprep, but we don't want to capture it, because whatever the we have created this machine right now, there is no, this is not a reference computer, there is nothing installed here, there is no application installed here, we are just right now deploying it. So we select do not capture the image. Then again it is asking for the BitLocker. Remember that option when we creating the deployment share, it was saying that to design to configure the manage this wizard options. So this option was selected there to ask for the capture image and ask for the enabling the BitLocker. So I don't want to enable it right now. Then this is the detail we have selected, and then we can start the installation. Now it is going to copy all the files from the deployment share, and it will start deploying the system. And when it is finished, our system will be ready with the applications which we have selected, like Adobe Reader we have selected. So it is going to install all that, and the machine name which we have configured like Win16, so it is going to name this machine as Win16 also. It is now installing the operating system and applying the image. It will take a little time because it is installing the operating system and adding the applications, but after that it will be complete. Okay, it is finishing the installation here. 82, 83 and 84. So it is going to finish the installation quickly. So it has finished the installation, it is rebooted, and now it is going to finish the rest of the things. Now it is already installed. We can see the operating system is now installed, and now we can see it is installing the Adobe Reader. We are not doing anything, it is installing by itself because it is decided on the task sequence. So it is installing the Adobe Reader which we have mentioned and finishing the installation, and done. And this is our operating system ready. We can see the name, this is the name we have decided, this is the IP address we have configured, and also we have added the application that is available on the desktop, we can see. So this is successfully deployed. We can see that it is deployed, and then we can finish it. So we can see the operating system, system is installed. We can see the application is also installed. Now if we want to make this as a reference computer, then what we will do, we will change the settings, we will add more applications what we need and whatever we need, and then what we do, we can create this, we can capture the image of this reference computer, and then we can use this image, capture image, to deploy multiple other computers same like this. So this is how we can do, create and manage the deployment images. We can manage to deploy the images. We can use the deployment toolkit for deploying the different images with also operating system, application and whatever. So we can design, we can do create the capture image also, and we can capture the image to deploy that image to create same computers, multiple computers with the operating system and everything, the applications also.